Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful tools in the EU's new AI rulebook, Article 93. You can think of it as the core mechanism designed to hold the creators of general-purpose AI accountable. Just so you know, this analysis was carried out under the scientific oversight of Professor Vihar Kiskinov. So, this is the fundamental question, isn't it? It's what regulators everywhere are grappling with. When you have an AI model that's powerful enough to affect all of society, what kind of guardrails can you even put in place? Well, the EU's answer is pretty detailed, and Article 93 is right at the heart of it. To really get a handle on this, we're going to walk through 5 key areas. We'll start with the EU's big idea for regulation. Then we'll trace the journey of this specific article. After that, we'll break down the exact powers it grants, look at its collaborative first approach, and finally, we'll sum up what it all means for the future of AI. Okay, so what is the EU's answer to that huge question? It's not some single, rigid rule. It's actually a much more flexible and carefully designed instrument for intervention. And here it is. This is the core of it. Article 93 gives the European Commission the direct authority to step in and demand action. This can happen when a general-purpose AI model is either not following the rules or, and this is critical, when it presents a major risk to the public. Now, how this rule came to be is a pretty fascinating story. Its journey through the whole legislative process really shows you the central tension in regulating AI. Just how broad or how narrow should a regulator's power actually be? You can really see the push and pull here. The Council started off with a really wide net. Then, in March, you see the Parliament try to tighten it up, focusing only on the AI model providers themselves. But just a month later, they did a U-turn, and the final text locked in that broader, more comprehensive authority. And this comparison just lays out that key debate perfectly. See, the final version didn't just cover the companies building the AI. It also extended the Commission's reach to their authorized representatives inside the EU. Now, this is a really crucial detail because it closes a major potential loophole for companies that are based outside the Union. So, with that broader scope locked in, what can the Commission actually do? Well, Article 93 gives it a kind of regulatory toolkit. It contains 3 distinct powers, and they're designed to be used in proportion to how serious the issue is. What's really interesting here is how this lays out an escalating scale of intervention. It starts with the basics, just checking compliance, then it moves up to actively managing new risks, and it holds that ultimate power, a market ban, as the final option. The first power is all about the fundamentals. It's about making sure providers are doing their homework, keeping proper technical documents, being transparent with the developers who use their models, and having a clear policy on respecting copyright law. You can think of this as the day-to-day enforcement. Okay, before we get to the next power, it's absolutely essential we understand this term. Systemic risk is not about minor bugs or one-off incidents. We're talking about the potential for a high-impact AI model to cause widespread serious harm across the entire European Union. This concept is the trigger for the Commission's heavier powers. This second power is all about being proactive. If regulators evaluate a model and they find a credible threat of systemic risk, even if no harm has actually happened yet, they can demand that the provider take action to address it. This is about preventing a crisis, not just reacting to one. And here we have the final and most powerful tool in the toolkit. If a systemic risk just can't be fixed through other measures, the Commission has the authority to pull the model from the market entirely. This is the ultimate backstop, and it's reserved for only the most severe threats. But having these powerful tools doesn't mean the Commission's first move is to come in with a heavy-handed order. Actually, the law itself builds in a collaborative process before any formal action is taken. This is so important. The AI Act doesn't just jump straight to enforcement. It explicitly requires the EU's AI office to start with what it calls a structured dialogue with the provider. So before any penalties, the first step is to talk. This 2-step approach really shows a clear preference for cooperation. First, the AI office opens a dialogue, sees if the provider will fix the issues voluntarily. Then, if the provider comes up with a solid plan, the Commission can make that plan legally binding. This effectively solves the problem without having to escalate to formal orders. So, after that deep dive, let's pull back for a second. What does all of this really mean? If you're going to take away just a few key ideas about Article 93, what should they be? Here are the 4 big points. First, regulators have a flexible toolkit, not a one-size-fits-all hammer. Second, the main focus is on preventing that large-scale systemic harm. Third, the whole process values collaboration over immediate conflict. And finally, the rules are designed for total accountability, making sure everyone in the chain is responsible. And that leaves us with this final thought. The EU has laid out a really detailed, powerful, and pretty nuanced plan for overseeing the most advanced AI. So, as other countries grapple with the very same challenge, is what we've just explored in Article 93 going to become the blueprint for the rest of the world? I guess we'll have to wait and see.